Are you eating what you believe is a healthy diet, yet still feeling tired, inflamed, gaining weight, or worse, worried about diseases like cancer slowly developing beneath the surface? Here's what most people don't realize. It's not just how much you eat, it's what those foods are signaling inside your body that determines whether you heal or whether disease begins to grow. Because inside your body right now, there are two powerful forces at work. One system is designed to repair, protect, and even destroy abnormal cells before they become dangerous. The other, it can feed inflammation, disrupt your metabolism, and create an environment where diseases, including cancer, are more likely to thrive. And the switch between these two states is not controlled by medication. It's controlled by what you put on your plate every single day. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your metabolism isn't just about burning calories. It's a highly intelligent network involving your immune system, blood vessels, gut microbiome, hormones like insulin, and even your cellular defense systems. When you eat the right foods, you activate what scientists call your body's defense systems, including angiogenesis regulation, immune surveillance, and DNA protection. But when your diet is overloaded with ultra-processed foods, sugar spikes, and inflammatory ingredients, you quietly disable those defenses. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a city. You have a security system, your immune system, a waste management system, your liver and detox pathways, a transportation network, your blood vessels. Now imagine feeding that city with low-quality fuel, blocking its roads, and cutting power to its security systems. That's exactly what poor nutrition does. And over time, that environment becomes ideal for disease. But here's the empowering truth. You can reverse that environment. You can activate your body's natural ability to heal, burn fat, stabilize energy, and even reduce the risk of chronic diseases, including cancer, simply by choosing the right foods strategically. In today's video, we're not talking about extreme diets or unrealistic protocols. We're focusing on science-backed practical foods and habits that help starve harmful cells, strengthen your metabolism, reduce inflammation at the root, and restore your body's natural balance. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I break down complex health science into simple, actionable tools you can use every day. Because once you understand how your body actually works, you stop guessing and you start healing intelligently. Now let's break down the 6 key insights that will completely change how you think about food, metabolism, and disease prevention. Let's start with the most important shift you need to make. Food is not just fuel. Food is information. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat, you're not just providing calories. You're sending biochemical instructions to your cells. These instructions influence everything from insulin levels and fat storage to inflammation, immune function, and even how your genes behave. This is the field of nutritional signaling, and it changes everything. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is like a control center filled with light switches. Some switches turn on fat burning. Some activate repair and healing. Others control inflammation and cell growth. Now here's the key. Different foods flip different switches. For example, when you eat ultra-processed foods high in refined sugar and industrial oils, you activate switches that spike insulin, increase inflammation, promote fat storage, and create an internal environment where abnormal cells can thrive. But when you eat whole, nutrient-dense foods, you activate a completely different set of switches. Improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, enhanced immune surveillance, better mitochondrial function, meaning more stable energy. What the research shows is that certain plant compounds, called polyphenols, can actually influence gene expression. This is known as nutrigenomics. In simple terms, food can literally tell your genes what to do. For example, compounds in berries and green tea can activate antioxidant defenses. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli support detox pathways in the liver. Garlic and onions can enhance immune function. Now think about that. You're not just eating food. You're programming your biology, one meal at a time. And this is where most people go wrong. They focus on calories, macros, or short-term diets, but they ignore the quality and signaling effect of the food itself. 2 meals can have the same calories, but completely opposite effects inside your body. One promotes healing, the other promotes dysfunction. So what can you actually do with this? Let's make this practical. Start with these simple shifts. 1. Prioritize whole foods. Focus on foods that come from nature, not factories. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, high-quality proteins, and healthy fats. Add defense foods daily. Include foods known to support your body's protective systems. Berries, leafy greens, turmeric, green tea, mushrooms. These aren't just healthy, they actively support your internal defense mechanisms. 3. Remove signal disruptors. Reduce refined sugars, ultra-processed snacks, artificial additives. These interfere with your body's natural signaling pathways. 4. Build meals that stabilize hormones. Combine protein, healthy fats, and fiber to prevent blood sugar spikes, which we'll dive into next. Because remember, every bite you take is either moving you toward healing or moving you toward dysfunction. There's no neutral. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I break down complex physiology into simple, practical strategies you can apply immediately. Now that you understand that food is information, let's move to the next critical piece. Why controlling your blood sugar may be the single most powerful thing you can do to prevent disease. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful and most overlooked drivers of disease in the modern world. Blood sugar. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat carbohydrates, especially refined ones, your blood glucose rises. In response, your body releases insulin, a hormone whose job is to move that sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells. That's normal. But the problem today is not glucose itself. It's the constant spikes. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a key. It unlocks your cells so glucose can enter. But if you're constantly eating, especially sugar and refined carbs, you're using that key over and over and over again. Eventually, your cells start to say, enough. I'm not responding anymore. This is called insulin resistance. And once that begins, everything changes. Your body stores more fat, especially around the abdomen. Your energy becomes unstable, leading to crashes and cravings. Inflammation begins to rise quietly in the background, and your metabolic system becomes less flexible. But here's where it gets even more serious. What the research shows is that many abnormal cells, including cancer cells, are highly dependent on glucose. They thrive in high sugar environments. So when your blood sugar is constantly elevated, you're not just affecting your weight. You may be creating conditions that make it easier for those cells to grow. Now, this doesn't mean sugar causes cancer directly, but it does mean that your metabolic environment matters a lot. So the goal is simple: keep your blood sugar stable. Because when you do that, you lower insulin levels, improve fat burning, reduce inflammation, and create a less favorable environment for disease. So how do you actually do this in real life? Let's make it practical. 1. Never eat carbs alone. Always pair carbohydrates with protein, fat, or fiber. For example, instead of eating fruit alone, combine it with nuts. Instead of white bread, choose whole foods with fiber and protein. This slows glucose absorption and prevents spikes. 2. Start your day with a stable meal. Avoid starting your morning with sugar-heavy foods. Instead, focus on eggs, yogurt with seeds, protein-rich meals. This sets your blood sugar tone for the entire day. 3. Use movement as a tool. Even a 10-minute walk after meals can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes. Your muscles act like a sponge, pulling glucose out of the bloodstream. 4. Reduce liquid sugar. This is one of the biggest hidden problems. Sugary drinks, even healthy ones like packaged juices, cause rapid spikes because there's no fiber to slow absorption. 5. Consider strategic fasting. Giving your body breaks from constant eating helps lower insulin levels and restore sensitivity. Even a simple 12-14-hour overnight fast can make a difference. Now here's the key idea to remember. Stable blood sugar is not just about avoiding diabetes. It's about protecting your entire metabolic system. Because when insulin is under control, your body shifts into a completely different state. It burns fat more efficiently. It reduces inflammation. And it activates repair processes that are essential for long-term health. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share daily insights to help you take control of your metabolism and energy naturally. Now that you understand the power of blood sugar, let's go deeper into something even more fascinating: how your body can actually create an internal environment that makes it harder for harmful cells to survive. Now let's explore one of the most fascinating and empowering ideas in modern nutritional science. Your body has the ability to make it harder for harmful cells to grow, simply by changing its internal environment. This is not about extreme diets or fear-based thinking. It's about understanding how your biology works and using that knowledge intelligently. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every cell in your body needs two critical things to grow: fuel, like glucose and certain amino acids, oxygen and nutrients delivered through blood vessels. Now, normal cells grow in a controlled, regulated way, but abnormal cells, they try to hijack your system One of the ways they do this is by triggering the growth of new blood vessels, a process known as angiogenesis. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine a small group of unwanted cells trying to expand in a city. At first, they're limited, but then they start building new supply routes, roads, pipelines, delivery systems. That's angiogenesis. It's how these cells secure a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients so they can keep growing. Now, here's the powerful part. Your body is constantly regulating this process. It has natural mechanisms to promote healthy blood vessel growth when needed, like for healing wounds, and inhibit excessive or abnormal growth. But diet plays a major role in this balance. What the research shows is that certain foods contain natural compounds that can help support the body's ability to regulate angiogenesis properly. In simple terms, some foods help your body cut off unnecessary supply lines. Examples include green tea, rich in catechins, berries, loaded with polyphenols, turmeric contains curcumin, tomatoes, source of lycopene, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale. These are sometimes called anti-angiogenic foods, not because they stop blood vessel growth completely, but because they help your body maintain the right balance. Now let's connect this to metabolism. When your diet is high in sugar and processed foods, insulin stays elevated. Inflammation increases. Growth signals in the body become overactive. This can create an environment where abnormal cells have both fuel and support. But when you shift your diet toward whole, nutrient-dense foods, you begin to lower insulin, reduce inflammation, improve immune detection, and regulate growth pathways more effectively. This is not about starving your body. It's about removing the excess fuel and signals that abnormal cells depend on. So what can you actually do starting today? Let's make this simple and actionable. 1. Build an angiogenesis-friendly plate. Try to include at least 2 to 3 of these foods daily. Green tea, berries, leafy greens, turmeric with black pepper, garlic and onions. Consistency matters more than perfection. 2. Reduce constant fuel supply. Avoid frequent snacking, especially on high-sugar foods. Give your body time between meals to stabilize insulin and reduce excess growth signaling. 3. Support natural detox pathways. Your liver plays a key role in regulating growth factors and hormones. Support it with cruciferous vegetables, hydration, limiting alcohol and processed foods. 4. Combine with blood sugar control. Everything we discussed earlier about insulin applies here because high insulin, more growth signals. Now here's the key idea to remember. Your body is not passive. It is actively working every day to protect you, but it needs the right inputs. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post daily content to help you understand and optimize your health using real science. Now that you understand how your body can regulate growth at a cellular level, let's move to another critical system that influences everything from immunity to metabolism, your gut microbiome. Now let's talk about a system that most people completely overlook. Yet it influences your metabolism, your immune system, your inflammation levels, and even how your body responds to disease. Your gut microbiome. Here's what's really going on inside your body. You are not just human. You are home to trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and other microbes, living primarily in your digestive tract. And these microbes are not passive. They are biochemically active. They help break down food, produce vitamins, regulate your immune system, control inflammation, and even influence how your body stores fat and manages blood sugar. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your gut microbiome like a garden. If you plant and nourish the right seeds, you grow a thriving, balanced ecosystem. But if you neglect it or constantly feed it the wrong inputs, weeds begin to take over. Those weeds are harmful bacteria that promote inflammation, disrupt metabolism, and weaken your immune defenses. Now here's the critical point. What you eat directly determines which microbes grow. Every meal is either feeding beneficial bacteria or feeding harmful ones. What the research shows is that a diverse, fiber-rich diet supports the growth of beneficial bacteria that produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These compounds strengthen your gut lining, reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and support immune function. On the other hand, diets high in ultra-processed foods, sugar, and low fiber can reduce microbial diversity and increase harmful species. This imbalance is called dysbiosis, and dysbiosis has been linked to obesity, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and impaired immune surveillance. Now think about that. Your gut is not just digesting food. It's actively shaping your internal environment, the same environment that determines whether your body thrives or struggles. So what can you do to optimize it? Let's make this practical. 1. Feed your gut with fiber-rich foods. Your beneficial bacteria thrive on fiber. Focus on vegetables, especially leafy greens, legumes, seeds, whole fruits. Aim for variety. Diversity is key. 2. Include fermented foods regularly. These introduce beneficial bacteria directly into your system. Examples include yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. Even small amounts consistently can make a difference. 3. Reduce microbiome disruptors. Limit ultra-processed foods, excess sugar, artificial sweeteners in large amounts. These can negatively impact microbial balance. 4. Support gut repair. Nutrients like zinc, glutamine from protein-rich foods, polyphenols from plants help maintain a strong gut lining. 5. Be consistent, not perfect. Your microbiome responds to patterns over time, not one single meal. Now here's the key idea to remember. When your gut is healthy, your inflammation goes down, your metabolism improves, your immune system becomes more effective, and that directly impacts your body's ability to protect itself. Because a strong immune system doesn't just fight infections, it also helps identify and eliminate abnormal cells early. Now that you understand the role of your gut, let's move to another root cause that silently drives almost every chronic disease: chronic inflammation. Now we need to talk about the real underlying driver behind most chronic diseases. Not just one condition, but nearly all of them. And that is chronic inflammation. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Inflammation is not the enemy. In fact, it's essential. When you get injured or exposed to an infection, your body activates inflammation as a short-term defense mechanism. It helps you heal. But the problem today is not acute inflammation. It's low-grade chronic inflammation that stays turned on for months, even years, without you realizing it. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of inflammation like a small fire. If it turns on when needed and then goes out, that's healthy. But if that fire keeps burning quietly in the background, it starts damaging everything around it. Your blood vessels, your cells, your hormones, even your DNA. And over time, that damage creates the perfect environment for insulin resistance, fat gain, cardiovascular issues, and yes, the development of abnormal cells. Now here's the critical part. Your diet is one of the biggest drivers of chronic inflammation. What the research shows is that certain foods consistently increase inflammatory markers in the body, while others actively reduce them. So again, food is not neutral. It's either fueling the fire or helping put it out. Let's break this down. Foods that tend to increase inflammation: refined sugars, processed carbohydrates, white flour products, industrial seed oils like soybean and corn oil in excess, ultra-processed packaged foods, excess trans fats. These foods spike insulin, increase oxidative stress, and activate inflammatory pathways in your body. Now on the other side, anti-inflammatory foods help calm that internal fire. These include fatty fish, rich in omega-3s, olive oil, nuts and seeds, leafy greens, berries, spices like turmeric and ginger. These foods work by reducing oxidative stress, supporting cellular repair, and helping regulate immune responses. Now here's something most people don't realize. Chronic inflammation also disrupts hormonal balance. For example, it increases cortisol, your stress hormone, it worsens insulin resistance, and it can interfere with fat-burning signals. So even if you're eating less, if inflammation is high, your body is still in a defensive storage mode. That's why some people feel stuck despite trying hard. So what can you do to reduce inflammation starting today? Let's make it practical. 1. Build anti-inflammatory meals. At each meal, aim to include a source of healthy fat, fiber-rich vegetables, clean protein. This combination stabilizes your metabolism and reduces inflammatory triggers. 2. Upgrade your fats. Replace processed oils with olive oil, avocado, nuts and seeds. These support healthier inflammatory responses. 3. Use spices as medicine. Add turmeric with black pepper for absorption, ginger, garlic. Small additions, powerful effects over time. 4. Improve sleep and stress management. Because inflammation isn't just about food. Poor sleep and chronic stress elevate inflammatory markers significantly. Aim for 7-8 hours of quality sleep. Simple stress reduction practices, walking, breathing, sunlight. 5. Be consistent. This is not about perfection. It's about lowering the overall inflammatory load over time. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share daily, science-backed strategies to help you take control of your health naturally. Now here's the key idea to remember. Chronic inflammation is like a hidden switch. When it's on, disease risk goes up. When you turn it down, your body shifts back toward healing. Now let's move to the final piece of the puzzle. Something simple but incredibly powerful. When you eat, and how timing can completely change your metabolism. Now let's bring everything together with a factor that most people underestimate: timing. Not just what you eat, but when you eat can dramatically influence your metabolism, your hormones, and your body's ability to heal. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your body operates on an internal clock, what scientists call your circadian rhythm. This rhythm controls hormone release, digestion, insulin sensitivity, cellular repair. And here's the key: your metabolism is not the same at all hours of the day. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a factory that runs on a schedule. During the day, your body is optimized for processing food, using energy, and being active. At night, it shifts into repair, detoxification, and recovery mode. But when you eat late at night or constantly throughout the day, you disrupt that natural rhythm. It's like forcing a factory to keep processing deliveries when it's supposed to be cleaning and repairing its machinery. Over time, that leads to poor metabolic efficiency, increased fat storage, disrupted insulin signaling, and reduced cellular repair. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. What the research shows is that giving your body breaks from constant eating can activate powerful healing processes. One of the most important is called autophagy. In simple terms, autophagy is your body's way of cleaning out damaged cells, recycling old components, and maintaining cellular health. Let me simplify that. It's like your body's internal cleanup crew. But here's the catch. Autophagy is suppressed when you're constantly eating, especially when insulin levels stay elevated. And it becomes more active when insulin drops, your body enters a fasted state. This is why meal timing and fasting can be so powerful. Not extreme fasting, not starvation, just structured eating patterns that give your body time to reset. So how do you apply this in real life? Let's make it simple and sustainable. 1. Start with a 12-14 hour overnight fast. For example, finish dinner at 7 p.m. Eat your first meal at 9 a.m. This gives your body time to lower insulin and activate repair processes. 2. Avoid late night eating. Try to stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before sleep. This improves blood sugar control, sleep quality, fat metabolism. 3. Align meals with daylight. Eat most of your calories earlier in the day when your body is more insulin sensitive. 4. Reduce constant snacking. Every time you eat, insulin rises. Frequent snacking keeps your body in storage mode. Instead, aim for structured meals. 5. Combine timing with food quality. Fasting alone is not enough. You still need nutrient-dense foods to support your metabolism. Now here's the key idea to remember. Your body needs both nourishment and recovery. Food provides the building blocks. Fasting provides the opportunity to repair. When you balance both, you unlock a completely different level of metabolic health. Better energy, improved fat burning, reduced inflammation, and stronger cellular resilience. Now that you understand what to eat, how it affects your body, and when to eat, let's bring everything together and turn this into a clear, practical path forward. Let's bring this all together. Because what we've covered today is not just about food. It's about control. Control over your metabolism, your energy, and your long-term health. Here's what you now understand. Food is not just calories. It is information, sending signals that either activate healing or drive dysfunction. When you stabilize your blood sugar, you don't just prevent energy crashes. You lower insulin, reduce fat storage, and create an internal environment that is far less favorable for disease. When you choose nutrient-dense whole foods, you support your body's natural ability to regulate processes like angiogenesis, helping maintain balance at the cellular level. When you nourish your gut microbiome, you strengthen your immune system, reduce inflammation, and improve how your body processes everything you eat. When you lower chronic inflammation, you turn off one of the most powerful drivers of metabolic dysfunction and disease. And when you respect your body's natural rhythm, giving it time between meals and avoiding constant eating, you activate processes like autophagy, allowing your body to repair, reset, and protect itself. Now here's the most important part. You don't need to do everything at once. In fact, trying to change everything overnight is one of the fastest ways to fail. Instead, start with one simple shift. Maybe it's stabilizing your breakfast. Maybe it's removing sugary drinks. Maybe it's adding more fiber and whole foods. Or simply giving your body a 12-hour break from eating, because small, consistent actions done daily are what reprogram your biology over time. Let me say that again. Consistency beats intensity. Your body is incredibly intelligent. If you give it the right inputs, it will respond. It will regulate your energy, improve your metabolism, reduce internal stress, and strengthen its natural defense systems. This is how real, sustainable health is built. not through restriction, not through extremes, but through understanding and working with your body instead of against it. So here's your challenge. Pick one strategy from this video, just one, and apply it today. Then observe. Track how your energy feels, how your hunger changes, how your focus improves. Because awareness is the first step toward transformation. And once you start noticing those changes, momentum builds. If this added value to your life, like the video and subscribe to join others who are optimizing their health naturally, one smart decision at a time. Your body already knows how to heal.